Woof woof! Hey guys, it's me Marcus, aka the Mad Dog. It's the beginning of the month and you know that can mean only one thing. You are watching a brand new episode, the first episode of 2021 of Whale Watch. This is a series that I do about once a month where I sit down, we take a recording of my screen and we just have a look at some of the books that look like they might be going out of print, maybe had a stealth reprint that you weren't aware of, or maybe there's just a good couple of deals that can help you find along the way. I say this at the beginning of every single video, but this is not in any way about driving any kind of fear of missing out or making people panic buy a book. I'm just one fan of this hobby that's trying to help others out. I've been a part of this community long enough to know how awful it is when there's a book that you've had on your radar for so long that you could just slowly see that it had all the telltale signs of going out of print and you still did nothing about it. But I've been doing my research throughout the month and there has been a bumper load of books that I want to talk about, so we're just going to jump right into it. The first one that I'm going to talk about is the East of West Deluxe editions. Now these have been sought out in varying degrees for quite a while, so at first it was Apocalypse Year 2 that was difficult to get, and as you can see Amazon UK is the only place that currently has it, which isn't really a great sign. Volume 3 as well doesn't really have too many places that have it. I was hoping I could get this for about 33% off, and Year 1's always helpfully been in print, but at the minute it does seem like Amazon's the last place that got it. I know a lot of people internationally really struggled to get that Year 2, so I've got some good news for you today. As you can see here, Bleeding Cool confirmed that all 3 of the deluxe editions of East of West, so Year 1, Year 2, Year 3, are all going to get one last hardcover reprint, and they are expected to be in stock about March 12th. So what I would recommend doing, even though it looks like you might have missed the cut-off point, book a pre-order with your comic shop. If you want these and you've struggled to find them even when Year 2 had that stealth reprint and you still weren't able to get it then, I would recommend just getting a pre-order with your comic shop, because it sounds like this might be the last time that they're doing it. This series is now finished. It doesn't look like there's going to be any more issues at the time that I'm recording, so you don't want it to be the case that maybe you've got Year 1 and Year 3 and this might be your very last chance to get Year 2 for a decent price. However, in a not similar fashion, as you can see here, we're going to talk about the Black Science Deluxe editions, these super oversized hardcovers. Rick Remender himself, the writer of the book, said that he just found out that volumes 1 to 3 are all again sold out. This probably does mean at diamond level, so you still might be able to find it here and there, but he did put that unfortunately due to the world being broken we won't be printing more anytime soon. Now with Rick Remender, you don't know if he's just saying this to try and get more sales of his books, but at the same time he's Rick Remender and they do tend to sell out well anyway. But I remember in May sometime that he said he was going to do another printing of these in a year or so it seems like those plans have unfortunately been scuppered. So if it is that you wanted the Black Science Deluxe editions, I'll see if I can find them for you anywhere here, but it might be worth just getting them now rather than risk missing them out, because if you were watching earlier episodes of Whale Watch, you will remember that these absolutely skyrocketed in price before they got that new printing. I don't want it to be the case, and it does look as if volumes 1 and 3 aren't available on Amazon. Yeah, there's nowhere reputable really that's selling that one. Internationally it looks like Amazon Japan's got one, but I'm not really too sure how well they're going to do at shipping it across. Doesn't look like Reed Comics has got it either. I had a little check on Forbidden Planet just then and I can't see that they've got it. Book Depository says that they've got some to dispatch in 16 days. I'm not really too sure where that number's coming from, so it doesn't really seem like anywhere's got this at the moment. So maybe your comic shop had Black Science Volume 1 and 2, and confirmed by Remender himself, it doesn't look like there's going to be a reprinting of these for a good long while. So have a look around and make sure that if these were books that you needed, that you make it a priority that you get them sooner rather than later. However, to give you some good news when it comes to Rick Remender, one book that I saw just randomly popped back in stock was the deluxe edition of Deadly Class Volume 1. So you can see right here, it's actually in stock with Amazon. It says available to ship in 1 to 2 days. Now, if we look just a little bit further back, earlier in November, my dad's birthday, for example, it was £200 new. And then yeah, look, just in a matter of days, it's crashed back down. So if this was a book that you wanted, please make sure that you get it now, because I believe that this is going to get a Volume 3. And I genuinely believe that they wouldn't bring out a Volume 3 without reprinting the first 2 volumes, especially because that's been the pattern when it comes to Rick Remender with stuff like Black Science. And it seems like Low also went about the same way, because that's finally getting a second deluxe edition. But at this moment, nothing's really guaranteed. You can't guarantee any kind of reprint, so if it is that you wanted Volume 1, you might be able to still get it for about cover price, and that's better than having to pay that 200 quid that it was a matter of days ago. We're going to continue with the image tiles, and one that I don't really know how exactly it's going to stand the test of time is the Wicked and the Divine Year 1. So as you can see, these these seem to all be slowly going out of print, and this series is done now. It doesn't look like Kieran Gillen is going to be doing any more Wicked and the Divine. So as you can see, volume 1 is only available through Amazon directly. It does look like all the Amazons do actually have it in stock, but as well, it was year 3 that seems to have just disappeared. So let's just go back to that one. Yeah, at the moment it's sitting at currently unavailable. I haven't really heard anything too much about if this is going to come back in print or anything like that. But when you think about Image titles, there's so many big names that come about because it seems like this series is done and there's no real incentive to keep printing it because of the fact that it doesn't really have that major buzz. I'm not saying it's bad or anything like that, I haven't personally read it myself. But now that this series is done and finished and everybody has had chance to get all 4 of these hardcovers if they want it, I don't really know if there's too much of an incentive for the creators to continue putting these back into print. Now, one thing that I do have to state before we go further into this video is that I don't really know how shipments to the UK have been affected by Brexit or just delays in Christmas in general. So with this being a bumper episode, it might be the case that some of the books that I state might be on the way back across here, but there's been some delays or something like that. All I can do is mention the patterns that I've noticed in the hopes that people don't miss out on the books that they want. Like I said, at the end of this day, this video series is all about helping people get books for prices that they're happy with. I don't really gain too much from doing this, so don't get annoyed at me if a week or 2 from now some of these books come back in stock because of the fact that they might have just been delayed in transport. Yeah, so I can't see volumes 1, 3 or 4 on Forbidden Planet, so that's not a good sign either. In-stock trades is obviously something that's more beneficial for American people, but obviously because they've got a greater connection to Diamond because of the fact that they're in the same country, I believe, it might be the case that we can use these to see if these books are available there as well. If it might be the case that there's just some that are coming across, but I can't see any of the Wicked and the Divine hardcovers on here. Another one that I mentioned a few months ago, and I've buckled and brought it myself now whilst I was doing research for this, is this Ed Brubaker book here, Velvet. Now, as you can see, Amazon is the only place that has it, and I think it's been that way for quite a while. It's still got quite a healthy price, and it seems like a lot of the other retailers have it, but the fact that you haven't got anything like Books Etc. or Book Depository or Speedy Hen selling it, it makes me wonder if it's going to be the case that it might be going out of print. It says here that more stock should be arriving later this month when you go on to read comics, but sometimes they say that and the date just keeps getting pushed back. It is available on in-stock trades, but my point is I don't want it to be the case that this goes away with something like The Fatale, The Fade Out, Kill or Be Killed, and it's one of those Ed Brubaker books that just disappears and everybody was wondering what happened. Next book on the list is one that I think might be a name that people are surprised to hear anybody say anymore, but it's Morning Glories, the Deluxe Edition, Volume 2. As you can see here, it's got all those signs that we've seen before. Amazon's the only place that's selling it. There hasn't been anybody else selling it for quite a while. But just whilst we're on the subject, I was going to do a video that was called What Happened to Morning Glories, because this series just disappeared, and at one point it was like the series that everybody was talking about. So I don't know if that's a series that anybody wants to watch, but just let me know in the comment section below, because I think that might be quite interesting to do. It doesn't look like Read Comics has Morning Glories either, but I know for a fact if it is that you were looking for all 3 of the Morning Glories Deluxe editions, you can get them on Cheap Comics in their sale, and I was tempted to do this. So as you can see right here, volume 2 there is at €20, volume 3 is at €20, and volume 1 is at the same price. So if you want these Morning Glories Deluxe editions, if in the case that, you know, I think it's Nick Spencer wrote this, if it is the case that he is going to come back and do more, and you don't want to miss out on any of these, and you want to catch up before maybe that even happens, you can get them for half price from Cheap Comics. But it does look like volume 2 is getting a bit scarce here and there. I'm going to try to keep the pace up because of the fact that, like I said, there's so many books to go through today, and the most recently released Berserk volume was volume 6, and you might notice that those telltale signs that I talked about before, you know, there's only one place that's selling it and stuff like that, are cropping up here with Berserk volume 6. For some reason it's showing volume 7 as a picture, don't really know what that's about, but Berserk is one of those books that tripped me up a few months ago. Volume 1 looked like it was going out of print, and then all of a sudden it's just come back everywhere, and some of you might remember that a few months ago you were asking me if volume 3 was going out of print because it had those telltale signs. Look, Amazon wasn't selling it, but then bam, everywhere's got it back in stock again. So you got your Speedy Hen, your Books Etc., Book Depository, Wordery, Blackwell's. All of a sudden it just cropped back up. They've got so many plans for these Berserk Deluxe editions that I wouldn't really ever worry too much if it does look like they're going out of print. And also, if you're in the UK, Forbidden Planet keeps ordering loads of these books and they keep bringing them into their 3 for 2 sales. So if it ever is that there's one of these books that you desperately need, I'd just recommend running down to your local comic shop because they've probably got some as well. But in the meantime, don't worry too much if it ever looks like one of these Berserk volumes is going out of print, because of the fact that there's so many different volumes that they've got to do that they aren't really going to shoot themselves in the foot and limit people buying those future volumes. Another book, and I know that this is a bit of a sore spot for a lot of you, but Nailbiter Volume 1, the Murder Edition, seems like it's going the same way as Volume 3. I remember this time last year it did the exact same thing and it seemed like another crop came about, but with Nailbiter it seems like now it's getting to that stage where the majority of these books are more out of print than the ones that are in print. It looks like Volume 2 is going the same way as well, so it might be the case that all of these books are slowly going out of print. What I think it will be the case is that Nailbiter Returns is a series that exists. It's a sequel series to this, and at one point they're going to eventually want to do an oversized hardcover for that. At that stage, I genuinely believe they will bring back all 3 of these volumes, so please don't pay over cover price for any of these books. Watch my review in the meantime if you're wondering what it's all about. If you see it for cover price or maybe less than that, yeah, I'd recommend picking it up, but please don't pay over cover price for this book, because something in the back of my head just tells me that when Nailbiter Returns does get the oversized hardcover treatment, these are going to come back in print as well. It'd be stupid not to. Why would you print the sequel series at a point where no one can get the original series anyway? Now, I mentioned this last month because I said it looked like these were going out of print again, and I remember how difficult it was to get them when they initially went out of print, but it's the Power Rangers Deluxe editions. Now, as you can see, this would have been roughly around the time when I was doing the last episode, but Volume 1 just disappeared. Looks like that's the last of the Amazons to have it. But it might be the case that you got Volume 1 and you thought you could sit a bit longer on the subsequent volumes, in particular Volume 2. Now, as you can see, the only place that's got it for undercover price is Amazon itself, and it's the cheapest of the Amazons, even though some of the others do still have it in stock. Purple Button are Doom over at Reed Comics, which normally says that they can't actually get it from Diamond, and they don't even have Year 1 in stock there. So let's have a look now at Forbidden Planet. No, unfortunately they don't have it either. Having a look at in-stock trades right now, no, it doesn't look like they've got it either, so it looks like again the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Deluxe editions are going the way of being out of print. You might still just about be able to get it here at Amazon, but it seems like it's getting shorter and shorter in stock here, there and everywhere, so if you needed some of those later volumes, pick them up now. Cheap Comics is also listing Shattered Grid as out of print, but I don't really buy into that because of the fact that it seems like everywhere's got that one in stock. You always have to take these with a bit of a pinch of salt because they don't always get everything correct. But then again, neither do I, so what can I really say? One that did seem to have a little bit of a stealth restock here, there and everywhere was the Irredeemable Omnibus and the Incorruptible Omnibus. So as you can see at the minute, you can get this from Amazon. They've got it at full price, but there are some other sites that are doing it a bit cheaper. Speedy Hen, Book Depository, Books Etc. says that they've got it, so I'd recommend getting that one because a month or two ago we all thought this was completely out of print. And the same for Incorruptible. It doesn't look like many places have got it, but you can actually get it for undercover price, so I'd recommend just jumping on these two because you never know what's happening with Boom Comics. Like, look what they just did with the Power Rangers Deluxe editions. They are easy money makers, but they keep putting them out of print. So with Irredeemable and Incorruptible, I don't really think it's going to be the case that this time next year we're going to see them in stock, so I'd rather you get them sooner rather than later so that you don't miss out, or worse, have to pay over cover price. This was one that I had someone ask me about. I can't remember the name off the top of my head because the lights are really bright, even though this looks like quite a dark video and my head's kind of a bit black. So it was the Paper Girls Deluxe Edition Volume 1. It looks like it's got some of those similar traits, so it looks like Amazon is the only place that's really got it cheapest. You've got Book Depository, but it says that they gain it in stock around 21st of January, so that's about 3 weeks away. Amazon.com's got it as the cheapest, but for me, I think that this is a series, with it being Brian K. Vaughan, Saga hasn't gone out of print, and that's an Image title, so it seems like he wants to keep his books in print, even if it is that they have finished, because as you probably know, there's 3 volumes in total for this, and all 3 have now been released. Forbidden Planet doesn't even have Volume 2, so I'm not really sure if this is going that same way, or if it is the case that maybe someone meant to come across and they just didn't get here. Yeah, so they don't really have it. They say that they're getting some in later this month, but unfortunately that can never be guaranteed. Let's have a see if Cheap Comics has got this as listed as out of print. I think I got my Volume 1 from there, but yeah, they've got all 3 in stock. It's not listed as out of print. It might be the case that some more of these come back across, but for me, I think the price of these at the minute is quite reasonable. It's about 32% off. I don't know if these are going to go out of print or not now that the series has ended, so it might be the case that these are going out of print. I'm not really too sure, but that's a great price anyway, so if you wanted them and you can afford it, why not just buy it now and save you that headache if it is the case that they are going out of print. Now, jumping into some DC omnibuses. Now, if you saw my haul from 2 days ago, I believe it was, you'll see that I finally got my hands on the Green Arrow by Mark Grell omnibus. But I actually managed to get it from Books Etc. for near enough half price, so I was really happy with that one. But as you can see here, again, it looks like a lot of places talking away that they're waiting for stock of this. So I would recommend that if you're not happy to pay this £85, you wait just a little bit longer, maybe halfway through the month, and see if any more stock comes across. But yeah, all the Amazons have actually got it, but it doesn't seem like it's at that great of a price at the moment. 85 is quite steep. Even though it is 30% off, it's still quite a steep price in general. Let's have a see if Reed Comics still has it, because I believe they did a few weeks ago. It's saying that it's out of stock and it's got the purple button, which isn't really too good of a sign. They've still got it in stock too. This is a place I nearly bought it from before then Books Etc. decided to have it at such a great price. But In Stock Trades doesn't seem to have it back either, so I'm not really too sure what is happening with this one. But Book Depository itself says that they're waiting for about 16 days to get this book, so I'm not sure if they do have an order that is going to come across. I'm not sure if it is going to be worth looking at other places and seeing if they get it in stock as well, but it seems like it's one of those books that is slowly making its way across, and if you can get it at that Books Etc. price, why not just put it into your little keeper app, this thing I've got here, and you can track it, and if you get a notification you can then buy it for that price and you don't have to miss out. But yeah, I know that this is an omnibus that a lot of you have been waiting on, so if you haven't already got it in your keeper, keep track of it. That's the way that I found out that it was as cheap as it was on Books Etc. and I don't want you guys to miss out on that. Now the next one, we all know that the Batman Detective Comics run by James Tynion IV has got a omnibus coming out. What I think this means is that if you're a collector of these deluxe editions that they did, I think it might be the case that these might end up on the chopping block. So as you can see here, there's not too many places that have the first volume, unfortunately. Volume 4 as well, the places that have it are getting fewer and fewer. Now I haven't really looked into it too much to see if there's any difference between the deluxe editions and the omnibuses, seeing if there's any, missing issues or things like that. But if it is that you were slowly collecting some of these deluxe editions, you might want to just jump on them sooner rather than later, because I think these are going to get the chopping block. In the same way that I think the Superman deluxe editions by Peter J. Tomasi might get the chopping block once it is that omnibus is initially released. So don't let it be the case that there's going to be some unfortunate holes in your collection. If you want these, jump on them now rather than later. I think I've mentioned this omnibus before, but it's the Swamp Thing by Nancy A. Collins. It's got a lot of those telltale signs again, so it's at full price. There's only Amazon itself and a random dude on Amazon that's selling it. Amazon Canada has the best price at that one, but it does look as if it's slowly disappearing here, there and everywhere. Again, could just be the case that we're waiting for some more to come across here, but unfortunately it doesn't look like In Stock Trades has got it. Forbidden Planet still has it, and it looks like it's one of the cheaper options if you're here in the UK. Reed Comics says that they're getting more in January. I don't know if that's a valid thing that they're saying, or if it is that they're just hoping that the order's going to come across, but it does look as if it's got some of those unfortunate telltale signs that this might slowly be disappearing in front of your eyes. And although the people who got this omnibus seem to have really enjoyed it, it hasn't really permeated past that. It hasn't really broken in as one of those major runs that every single person needs to read. And because of the fact that both the Alan Moore Absolutes went out of print quite quickly, I think it's going to be the case that they're going to want to get them back in print more so than the sequel run by Nancy A. Collins, unfortunately. Now, I feel a bit bad because somebody asked me about this ages ago, and I'm still going to have the same stance on it, but you might have noticed that the new Teen Titans Omnibus Volume 1 has just disappeared from the majority of places. So there's only one sort of smaller places advertising as having it on Amazon, pretty much at cover price on the Amazons that do actually have it. It doesn't look like In Stock Trades has got either Volume 1 or Volume 2, and Reed Comics says that they were waiting stock, but for me, you might notice that there's already been solicited a Volume 5 and a Volume 6 of this new Teen Titans run. I said this when I last mentioned this book, and I feel like I have to address this again because I don't want anybody paying £145 for this book, but I did the exact same with the new Teen Titans Omnibus Volume 2. I noticed that it was disappearing here, there and everywhere, and I brought it for about cover price, and then all of a sudden it just started appearing everywhere again. It would be stupid of DC, but then again it's DC, sometimes they do make some stupid decisions, but it would be stupid of them to solicit later books and then not even have the original omnibus out and available to buy. So for me, rather than paying triple cover price, I would just wait a tiny little bit and see if this book does come back in stock around the time when some of those later volumes are coming out. Volume 5 solicited for about the 26th of January, so maybe that date that they had on Reed Comics does actually line up. I just think it'd be a smart business move to make sure that all these omnibuses are available to buy at the time when your new volumes come out, because if you couldn't get get a volume 1, why are you going to buy a volume 5? It's not the Usagi Yojimbo thing over here. Another one that I have to mention yet again is the Teen Titans by Jeff Johns Omnibus. I'm taking a drink of water, I'm filming this on New Year's Day, so I need this. But this seemed to have had a stealth reprint quite a few weeks ago. Now it's been in print since about 2013, but then it disappeared around about 2019, I believe it was. Amazon Canada's got it for quite a good price, if I'm honest. So I don't want anybody to have to pay even more than £135. So if you're willing to pay that amount for this book and you really want it, maybe you've got some Amazon gift cards as a Christmas present, so it won't really cost you as much exactly. So I would recommend, if that's a book that you want, it seems like it's on its way out again, unfortunately. Next up, I've noticed weird things happening with the Wonder Woman by George Perez Omnibuses. Unfortunately, it does look as if volume 1 already isn't really in stock in many places, and I did actually mention volume 3 in an earlier video. But as you can see, Amazon's the cheapest place that's got it, and it's the only place that I've actually used that seems to be able to sell it at the moment. Volume 2 seems to be the one that is healthily available in stock, but admittedly you're not going to want a volume 2 if you can't get volumes 1 and 3. But if you wanted these 3 Perez omnibuses, I think along with the War of the Gods and the fact that Gods and Mortals is getting an absolute edition later this year, maybe DC is retiring these omnibuses, unfortunately. So it does look as if Reed Comics has actually got volume 1 in stock, so that's quite a good shout there. So you can still get all 3 for undercover price if it is that you wanted them. And then it looks like Forbidden Planet has only got volume 3, so you can still get them all. I don't really know what's happening with these. I don't know if it's going to be the case it's going to be like the Batman Nightfall and just suddenly all of them disappear. I don't want it to be the case if these are books that you were sitting on and you thought you had a little bit longer with, because it does seem like slowly all those signs are adding up that these aren't going to be around much longer, I'm afraid. One weird thing that I don't know if this is something that I should even tell you to get your hopes up with. So as you can see here, for about 3 or 4 days, the Gotham Central Omnibus was available to order. I ordered one and nothing's really happened with it as of yet, but maybe this is just a glitch, maybe they didn't really know what they were doing, or it might be the case that, like I predicted, because of the fact that we've seen like the JSA Omnibus Volume 2, and we've seen that Teen Titans by Jeff Johns Omnibus get a stealth reprint, maybe they're going to do the same with Gotham Central. I thought and hoped that might be the case because I've got the 4 standard hardcovers, but I'd really like to upgrade to the Omnibus and I slept on it for a little bit too long. And that was mainly what inspired this video series to start in the first place. But this is one that I'm going to keep my eyes out on, and I recommend checking other places. Maybe there's like that discount comic book service in America that knows something about a stealth reprint. But I thought it was really interesting that at one point all the Amazons just decided to suddenly put this back available to order again. And I'll keep you updated on if anything happens with my order. Now we're mentioning this one again because I keep getting people asking me about it, even though I don't work for DC or anything like that, but it's the Batman by Paul Dini Omnibus. Slowly the price is trickling down, so they have only got it as available for sale from Amazon US. But I actually saw that this had come back in stock on Reed Comics, and I'm not sure if they've got it now. They don't, unfortunately, but they do say that they're due to have some in upcoming weeks. Again, we kind of have to take that with a pinch of salt. Nothing on Forbidden Planet, but I'd recommend keeping your eye on this one because it does look like other places are saying that they are going to get it later on, and I feel like there has to be a proper release for this book. DC has to know that Batman is a big name and Paul Dini is a big name, so why would you just let that go out of print? But one that is cropping up on the radar again is the Justice League International Omnibus Volume 1. Now we know that Volume 2 recently came out and is available to order. I haven't managed to get my hands on it just yet, but I thought that there was weird things happening with Volume 1, and as you can see the price has crept up everywhere. And again, I don't know if this might be the case that it's one of those books that they're waiting for more stock on. It looks like Reed Comics has got it, and let's have a little look if Forbidden Planet has. Forbidden Planet doesn't have the first volume, but let's just have a look on in-stock trades, because I believe that we do still have to have a 3rd volume in order for this run to be completed. Doesn't look like in-stock trades has got it either, so that is quite interesting. If it was that you wanted the complete Justice League International, at the moment it seems like Reed Comics is one of the cheaper places that has it, so I'd recommend picking it up from there. But still, I'd put this on your radar if it is that you wanted it. The next one that I want to talk about is the Batman by Grant Morrison Omnibus, in particular Volume 3. Now these have been in stock for the longest amount of time, and then suddenly it looks like they are just disappearing here and there. So as you can see, Volume 2 doesn't really have many places that are selling it, like your Books etc, your Weirdery, your Speedy Hen and things like that, and Volume 3 is only available through Amazon directly. Now yeah, I do think this might be a cause for a minor bit of panic, but the problem is I don't really know if this is going to come back in or not. In my heart of hearts I believe it is, because of the fact that they've kept stuff like Doom Patrol, they've kept the Invisibles and other Grant Morrison stories in print. You can get volumes 1 and 2 from Reed, but you can't get volume 3, it just says out of stock, doesn't even let you order it. And you can't get any of them from Forbidden Planet, unfortunately. And like we said at the beginning, doesn't look like In Stock Trades has got them. But it is a weird one. Something tells me that they're not going to let these stay out of print forever because of the fact that it's Batman, which is a big name, it's Grant Morrison that's a big name, and this is a series that seemed to pull in a lot of people from outside of the comic realm. But if it is that you really want them and you don't even want there to be the slight chance that you might miss out on these, it seems like some of them are on the chopping block and it might not be that they're coming back in stock for a while. And just whilst we're talking about Batman, there was a deluxe edition that I've been going on about for ages that finally seems like it's had its day, and that is the Batman Mad Love, which you'll know is famous for introducing Harley Quinn into the main Batman universe. Now the only reputable place that's stocking it is Amazon itself, and they've got it for quite a decent price. You know, that's quite inexpensive, and you don't want to be the case that a deluxe edition ends up costing you more than some omnibuses could. But it's been in stock since about 2015. The buzz about Harley Quinn seems to be slowly dying down. Like, I know she's still got her animated show, but she doesn't really have like that movie appeal anymore since now that she's been pretty much in 2 flops, so it might be the case that this is on its way out, and it doesn't really seem like it gets talked about that much. It's from the creative team of the animated series. Like, I don't know why this isn't more popular. Now, before we jump into the Marvel books, I just want to remind you that if you're enjoying this, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't done so already, or maybe you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button down below and click the bell notification so that you never miss a video, because trust me, the next video that I've got planned is going to be an insane one. Might go a little bit more into detail at the end of the video, but won't say much for now. As well, we've got our own Reddit page r/MadDogComic community. It's a really chill place. You can post your hauls, post some memes, post discussions, do what you want on there as long as you respect everyone. But we're now going to get into Marvel, and before we can do that, we are going to do our chi check, which if you've watched more than one episode of this, you know it's the part of the show where we check on our boy Shang-Chi. And yes, that is getting increasingly difficult to say. But as you can see here, volume 1 isn't available from Amazon and someone's selling it for £200. And oh no, that must be the cheapest price that it can be. Don't worry, I already found a cheaper price, it's just dramatics for the video. And volume 2 now looks like it's currently unavailable on Amazon, so it had a brief period where it went full price. Like I said, that's normally one of the signs that something is on its way out. Volume 3 you can get, I think Books Etc. still, yeah, Books Etc. still got, and same for volume 4. And let's also have a look at Deadly Hands of Kung Fu. This is the sister series, so if you want the complete Deadly Hands Shang-Chi saga, you do have to get these as well. They've only got volume 2, it's temporarily out of stock. Books Etc. does have that one, but volume 1 looks like it's nowhere to be seen. However, recently, Cheap Dash Comics, which I believe is located in the Netherlands, I believe, did recently get a load of books on sale, some of which are going to crop up later on this video, so spoilers for that. But as you can see right here, the Shang-Chi Masters of Kung Fu Omnibus is less than half price. And this is a book that someone on Amazon is charging £200 for. So I do recommend that you drop on that if it is that you want them, because we are under the belief that there's only going to be one print run of these. So it looks like Reed Comics has volume 2, but they don't have volume 1 in stock. I'm not really sure if they are going to get too many across, because I don't believe there's going to be any more printings of this. But for the meantime, you can still get all of them for Undercover, and if it is that you wanted to start these, volume 1 is definitely one that you need to pick up, especially for that price. That is cheaper than what I paid for it. They only have the direct market variant cover for Deadly Hands of Kung Fu volume 1. They don't even have volume 1 in stock, and they don't have it anymore at Reed Comics, whereas last month they did have one that they were selling on eBay. So this might be one of the final ones that you can get the complete saga if it is that you wanted them, so please don't sleep on them much longer. Another Marvel book that we're going to talk about is one that only recently came out, and that is the Absolute Carnage Omnibus. As you can see here, the only place that's got it in stock is Amazon itself, and it did briefly jump up to full price. Now, I did check Omar's list. Obviously I'm filming this on the Friday, so I haven't seen his Saturday live stream or anything like that, but this time it doesn't look like it's been confirmed that there's going to be another restock of this. There was a restock in around about November, December time. Yeah, I think it was November, and it pretty much just went out of stock yet again. It isn't available on Amazon America, it isn't available in in-stock trades, it's available at full price on Cheap Comics, and for once they might actually be correct with saying that something's out of print. Reed Comics does have it for Undercover price, and let's just have a look at Forbidden Planet whilst we're here. Nope, can't find it there. But if it is that you want the Absolute Carnage Omnibus, whilst it is that we're waiting for any kind of confirmation, I'm not really sure what the deal is with these event omnibuses, because I don't know if it's something that they see as timeless, because it's not exactly a complete run. It's not something that anybody can just pick up and read. It is something that's important to the time when it comes out. So that's definitely on the radar if it is that you wanted it, along with another one, and you can probably guess which one I'm going to talk about, because it's the War of the Realms Omnibus. Again, similar to Absolute Carnage, there's only one left in stock, and it's currently at full price. price. Amazon America doesn't have it. It's not available on in-stock trades. Listed as out of print on cheap comics. Let's see if it's exactly the same as Absolute Carnage. So they had this in stock, so let's have a see if they got it here. Nope, it's even out of stock on Reed Comics, and I don't believe that you can find it on Forbidden Planet. And normally when I say something like that, you can find it in stock on Forbidden Planet, but this time it doesn't look to be the case. So the War of the Realms is another one that looks like it's going out of print. So like I said again, I don't know if it's going to be the case that Omar's going to announce that there's going to be yet another restock of this. It seems like Marvel have been quite good at things like that, but at the same time we don't really know what the situation is with these event omnibuses. So if you can find this for cheap, maybe your local comic shop's got it and they're willing to do a deal for you, you might want to pick this up before the eventual Thor by Jason Aaron omnibuses come out, because we all know that it's got to happen at some point. So I don't want it to be the case that people get an incomplete story. So if you wanted that, this might be your warning that it's the case that they aren't going to come back in stock. Next up is the Spider-Man by Ben Reilly Omnibus Volume 2, and yes, I did spell it incorrectly up there originally, but as you can see, the only place that's got it is Amazon itself, and it looks like the price is cropping up here and there on all the Amazons as well. So this means that stuff like Book Depository, Books etc., Speedy Hen, Weird Read don't have this in stock at the moment. And you might be wondering, should you then panic buy and just get this straight away? But if we have a look at Neiman Conditions stream from the other week, so as you can see here, you know, on the off chance that you aren't already subscribed to him, go show him some love. But it has been confirmed that there is going to be a restock of the Spider-Man Ben Reilly Volume 2 Omnibus sometime in March. So I got mine from Books etc. for about, I believe it was £60 odd or something like that. So if you're hoping that you can pay a similar price, why not just wait till March and see if it happens? Because this isn't a great saving of 17%. So if you can wait a little bit of time, maybe you don't need it immediately, maybe there's some other books they've already mentioned that you need to jump on first, why not just wait a little bit, hope for the best that it does come back in print, and we might get some across here. And like I said, if you download this Keep It app, which is an extension to Chrome, you can then keep track of it. So if the price drops to a value that you're happy with, you can then just jump on it there and there. Next up, and I know that a lot of people don't like this omnibus, but it's the Guardians of the Galaxy by Brian Michael Bendis. Now again, all the telltale signs are here. The only place selling it is Amazon for full price. It's been out since 2016, which is quite a significant amount of time. It's creeping up here and there in price over across all the Amazons, but it is on for a sale price over at Cheap Comics. But for me, it does look as if this is slowly going to go out of print here and there. Can still get it on in-stock trade, so maybe it is the case that this is just lost in translation somewhere and people in the UK aren't really getting it. But for me, I know that this seems to be one of those incomplete omnibus runs because of the fact that, well, it's got Brian Michael Bendis' name on it, so of course you weren't going to do a volume 2 worthy. But the fact of the matter is that if it was that you wanted this, for some reason it seems like a lot of places across here aren't getting this at the moment. So maybe you want to get it from Cheap Comics if this was a book that you really wanted, but I definitely would have that on your radar. Another one that should be on your radar, although you might still have a month or two, is this one right here, the Spider-Man Miles Morales Omnibus. Now it isn't in desperate situation at the moment because, as you can see, Book Depository still got it. I haven't really dealt with either of these, so I can't really recommend them, but it doesn't look like there's many places that are stocking this at the moment. Cheap Comics is listing both of the Ultimate Miles Morales Omnibuses as out of print, but they aren't listing this one. But for me, it looks like it's slowly going that way. Now this omnibus itself didn't really have too much buzz about it. It does seem like it's got some kind of crossover with Spider-Gwen. So obviously there's a Spider-Gwen omnibus that's due out later this year, so it might be the case that you want to jump and have both of these omnibuses at the same time, but you don't want to be the case that you miss out on this one because of the fact that, like I said, it doesn't seem like it got too much buzz about it. So I just recommend that if you want it, keep it on your radar, but you might also be good for a month or two, and who knows, maybe some more will come across. Now, one that I know got mentioned in around the summertime months was the Earth X trilogy, but it was Alpha in particular that I was mentioning. Again, as you can see, it looks like Amazon is the only place that's selling it, and they're selling it at full cover, and the majority of the other Amazon sites are creeping up in price as well. You can get both in stock and in stock trade, so it looks like places in America do still have it. But the reason why I didn't scroll down too quick earlier on was because of the fact that both Alpha and Omega are part of the mega sale over at Cheap Comics. So you can see there, you can get it for half price for about €65. You can get Omega for about €50. That's a great price for these two, and because of the fact that, again, this doesn't seem to have a lot of buzz. Like, if you were honest, if these were out of print and people heard that these were getting a reprint over some of the other books that we've wanted for ages, people would be really annoyed about that. So if these do go out of print, which it looks like they're going that way, I don't really think you're going to see them back around for a good long time. The next one that we're going to look at, I know there's so many different Deadpool omnibuses that it's difficult to see what exactly is going to go out of print and not, but that's why I kind of do this show for you. But it's this one, Deadpool by Daniel Waid Omnibus Volume 2. Full price over at Amazon. They're the only like proper place that's selling it. You can still get a good price over at Amazon.com, but it does just look like this has been out for a while and hasn't really had too much buzz about it. Let's have a see if Cheap Comics has got this. Maybe they've got it as part of the sale. Yeah, that's good timing. Yeah, so you can get both volumes as part of the sale, but look how heavily discounted the first volume is. You can get it for €40 and originally it was listed for 100. But for me, it does just look as if volume 2 is slowly creeping out of print here and there. So if it is that maybe you needed that, maybe you got volume 1 as part of that amazing Amazon Germany sale over a year ago, but now it might be the case that you've slept on volume 2 for quite a while and I can't really see it in that many places. Yeah, it does look like In Stock Trades has got it, so who knows, maybe I'm wrong on this one. It's not in stock over at Reed Comics, but it does look as if they've got 2 other Deadpool omnibuses. This one I thought was in print for quite a while, so that was on my radar for a little bit. So it might be the case that you want to pick up one of these. It's in Reed Comics as part of their sale. Tell them that the Mad Dog sent you and tell them woof woof. It doesn't really count for anything, it's just that I'd like to be able to establish a connection with them. Not available on Forbidden Planet either, although you can get the DM variant of the all new Wolverine. I'm tempted to pick that one up. Another one, because I'm losing my voice rapidly as I'm doing this video, is the Fantastic Four Omnibus by Mark Waid. Now obviously I mentioned the volume 1 last month, and again it looks like it's skyrocketed in price already. Not too many places had it either. Now with the reprints coming out later this year, that's definitely one that needs to be on your radar if you haven't got it already. But the one that we are going to talk about is the Fantastic Four by Mark Waid run. So the only place that's selling it new is Amazon, and it's temporarily out of stock as well. Some Amazons are having trouble getting that in as well, so let's just have a look over here and see if anyone in America can get it. Oh, decent, you can get it there, but I'm not really too sure what's happening over here. You can get it at Reed Comics and much cheaper than what they were charging over on Amazon. Oh, decent, you can get the Matt Fraction Omnibus from there as well. Maybe my eyes are just playing tricks on me, but I can't even see over on Cheap Comics, so I'm not really too sure what's happening with that. It seems like some of the comic shops like Reed Comics and In Stock Trades do actually have it, but it seems like the wider like venues, I don't mean venues, what do I mean? The wider outlets don't have this in stock at the moment, and to be fair, like I said again, it hasn't really had too much buzz, so maybe it is the case that they're slowly letting this one go out of print. So if you want it, maybe now's the time to pick it up. I've mentioned this a good couple of months, but the Punisher by Garth Ennis, the only place that's selling it at the minute is Amazon itself, and that's for about 33% off, so that's a really good price. And I can see maybe in a couple of weeks this jumps back up to full price, and then slowly you see that you can't really get it anywhere. Yeah, it's the cheapest of the other Amazons. Their prices are creeping up as well, but this has been back in print since about 2017, and this was a massive whale for the longest amount of time. Now I do remember that Cheap Comics at one point did have this on sale, so let's just see if it's on sale again. Yep, you can get it for about €60, which is really good, along with some of the other Punisher omnibuses as well. But for me, it seems like I said again, those bigger outlets aren't having this for sale. It'd help if the Punisher came back, like maybe if he had, you know, another series on Netflix or something like that. You see, you can get it on Reed Comics. But for me, even though it does seem like a few places have this isn't the omnibus that you want to sit on, because I remember just how badly I wanted this when it was out of print for years. So please do not wait around for this one. If you want it, I'd just recommend picking it up from Amazon. That's a great price, even if it was, you know, really helpfully in print. You know, 33% off is pretty decent, so I'd recommend picking that up if you do want it. What's next? Okay, it's an omnibus that I don't really know who exactly brought this, but for some reason it exists. I think even I've got this on my shelf, which is the Marvel Horror Omnibus. Again, Amazon's the cheapest place that's selling it. When does Book Depository say that they're getting in stock? They're currently waiting on stock, so it might be the case that, you know, more copies are just waiting to come across. I don't really know, like I said, who exactly wants this omnibus. I don't really know what it contains, but obviously every book's printed for somebody, so if you're the person that wanted the Marvel Horror Omnibus and for some reason haven't had it since September 2019, maybe jump on it now, see if you can find it somewhere a little bit cheaper. Yeah, Reed Comics has it. It's the last one that they've got on their eBay page. I don't really see that getting a reprint if it ever disappeared, so don't linger around for that one. People keep asking me what's happening with this omnibus right here, Hulk by Peter David Volume 2. Literally, this morning when I was checking over books, this was still out of stock. It said currently unavailable. So Amazon's just got some stock in of it. As you can see from my most recent haul, this was a book that I also just got in from Forbidden Planet itself. Let's have a see if Reed Comics has got it now. Purple Button of Doom, that's never really a good sign, and I believe they should still have it in here, but let's just have a little look. No, it looks like Forbidden Planet might have also lost stock of it. Yeah, unfortunately it isn't there anymore. So This is a weird book. I think they're gonna bring more stock of this out, especially with later volumes already being solicited, and with it being that I think we need about 4. So just hang tight. The fact that this just came back in stock over at Amazon is a good sign to me, and I think it is worth just hanging in a little bit longer and seeing if somewhere like, you know, your Forbidden Planet, maybe even a Books etc. does eventually get stock of this book. Another one that is famous for yo-yoing in price is the Star Wars by Jason Aaron Omnibus. Now it is temporarily out of stock here at Amazon, and as you can see there isn't really anywhere else that's selling it. Doesn't look like it's much cheaper anywhere else, and that's even if they've got stock of it. But let's have a see if we can find this somewhere else for you, because I know that this is probably going to be one of those that as soon as it goes out of print everybody will want it. So you can find it at cheap comics, you know, for pretty much about the same as what it was at Amazon. But this is Star Wars, it's always going to be a big title. Is it going to come back in print? I don't really know. I'm not really sure which cover to go with for that one as well. It is available over at Reed Comics, so maybe you can get it from there. And you never know, it might just be the case that they are waiting for more stock of this to come back across. Because that's what happened last time. It did the same thing in round about, I believe it was May or June, and then all of a sudden just appeared everywhere again. But the fact of the matter is, this could, every book, every omnibus has the possibility to go out of print. And eventually every omnibus will go out of print. All we can do in this show is hope for the best and try and look at the signs that might point towards it. Now for me, that's what these signs are doing. They're saying like, look, it's near enough being out for 2 years. They let the Darth Vader omnibus go out of print and didn't bring that one back. It's not available in many places. It's only really in comic shops. So for me, that does look like it's going the same way. But another one that I know there's been panic, I've seen this in certain communities that I'm in, it's a Conan the Barbarian by Kurt Busiek omnibus. Now, there are still places that have it. Speedy Hen's probably going to be your best bet for it. They'll probably gate you. If you order that from Speedy Hen now, they'll probably deliver it last year. They're that quick. But I know that this cover in particular has been really difficult to get. On in-stock trades, this one went out of stock before the direct market, which is just rare. And yeah, it isn't available at the moment on in-stock trades. Let's have a see if Reed Comics has got it. Although, like I said, admittedly, just go for Speedy Hen. There is going to be a point to this. I'm going to come back to my point in a moment, but they are saying both covers are out of stock. I remember that these had it for quite a while. Top of I knew how to use a spacebar. They've got the DM market variant in stock, but not the main cover. Again, I find it funny that the main cover is going out of print before the direct market. It's just, that's how bad of a cover this is by comparison. But for me, you might have seen then that when I was on the Uncanny Omar stream, above the Ben Reilly Volume 2 omnibus, it said that Conan the Barbarian, the original Marvel Years Volume 4, is going to get a restock. Are you genuinely telling me that you think that Volume 4 of the original Marvel Years is going to get a restock and the Kurt Busiek omnibus isn't? I don't buy into that for a second, so it might take a little bit of a time for the announcement to come across, but the fact that America went out of stock of it quicker than us is a really good sign that they're going to get more, because I don't really know how much communication Marvel has with the UK. And don't get me wrong, if they need a representative, I'm down for that. Like, please, I'd love some free books from you. But unfortunately, that's very unlikely, so I don't know if they've got really this communication with the UK to see how quickly books are coming out of stock for us here. But if it's gone out of stock quickly in America, it means that we are probably going to get a restock of it. So if you wanted that beautiful cover, the cover that we should all want, I'd just wait a little bit of time. Hopefully you're going to get it back. But like I said, why not just go to Speedy Hen? They've got it in stock now. Just go to it. Get it. Another one that caused quite a bit of controversy when it was originally released back in May is the Silver Surfer Omnibus. Now, there was a reissue of this because some of the pages were the wrong way round. I don't really know when you're looking at a page such like Amazon how you can tell if you're going to get the corrected edition. But I do remember that it appeared back here on Reed Comics, and luckily they were smart and they realised that people knew that there was an issue, so they listed it as new corrected 2020 printing. So if it is that you were waiting for this, you can still get it here from Reed Comics, and I'd recommend just picking that up. I'm not really too sure if the direct market is the corrected printing or not, and somehow they have the Namor Omnibus back in print, so that might be another one. And they also have Annihilation. Did these get like a stealth restock of everything that's gone out of print for a bit? Doctor Strange Omnibus Volume 2's gone. But yeah, if you were waiting on that one, it doesn't look like it's had some big announcement that it's back here, there and everywhere, so I'd recommend just jumping on it whilst you can, so you don't have to worry about getting any of those misprints, especially if this book goes out of print again, because you won't be able to tell if it's a misprint or not without opening it. You might be like me and you might be scared of opening an out of print book. I know I mentioned this one last month, and it's the last Marvel book that we are going to end on. It's right here, the Astonishing X-Men Omnibus. Temporarily out of stock. Amazon's the only place that was selling it anyway, but they didn't have it. Amazon.com doesn't have it, unfortunately. They've got it in stock for cover price. Can't see it on in-stock trades. Hopefully Read Comics might be able to save the day. Yep, luckily they've got it in stock and they've got the direct market variant. And it does also look like, luckily, Forbidden Planet has it as well. But for me, this is getting scarce and it doesn't look like it had the buzz that it should have done. Jesus Christ, why has that gone up to that price already? I did say last month that the Uncanny X-Force did look like it was going to go out of print again. And is Daredevil doing the same? Books Etc. has it, but with these reprints, we don't know how long they're going to stay. So stuff like the Daredevil Volume 1, the Astonishing X-Men, the Uncanny X-Force, don't sit around. This is Marvel giving you a second chance. This is Marvel saying, we know you wanted these books and we know that you waited too long the first time because they were coming out at the time when Omnibuses had about 6 months before they actually went out of print and you still didn't get them then. So we're giving you a second chance. So that includes Annihilation, the Uncanny X-Men Omnibuses, all of these reprints. You have to make sure that they are your priority at the moment. Because like we see, I reckon in the next 2 or 3 months, Daredevil by Brian Michael Bendis is probably going to go the same way. And Astonishing X-Men looks like it's already there. You don't want to be the person that slept on it for a second time, so don't miss out on these reprints. It's great that Marvel's doing this, and the quicker that they sell out, maybe it is the case that they'll do all the reprints of books that we wanted as well. So that's the message that I'm going to end on, but I've got a little bonus. For anybody that knows me knows that I love the movie Mulan. I didn't want to put this at the beginning because it's literally got nothing to do with comics, but this is the most beautiful book that I've ever seen, and it's The Art of Mulan. It got a remaster because this originally went out of print back in 1997, and this is the most beautiful book that I've ever owned. Book Depository says that they have it, and I'd recommend checking it out. This is just such a great book that I don't want this to go out of print and you'll miss out on it, because I love this. It's probably one of my favourite books in my collection, so if you're a fan of Mulan, you're a fan of art books, this is one of the best, so don't sleep on that one either. But let's have a look at the Omar Effect, because as any of you might have known, if you watched that video that he released on Christmas, he announced that the Death of Captain America Omnibus is getting a reprint. This is a book that people have wanted for ages. I've seen people paying stupid prices for this book, but as you can see here, luckily it looks like people are getting smart, so somebody put one up for £90, and about a month ago that would have been the deal of the century. But as you can see, 1 day left, no one's bid on it. Someone's trying to sell one for £225. You can tell they put first print, they were aware that this is getting a restock. That person made a quick bit of money, £99, good 100 quid for yourself there. But this is the one that's going to be interesting to look at now, the Captain America Lives Omnibus, because that's the next one that if one of these is going to get a reprint, it's going to be this one. So it's going to be interesting to see if anybody sells one of them for good money before that reprint comes out. But it's always good being smart about this and being aware of what's coming out so that you don't spend stupid amounts. The other one was the Spider-Man by Todd McFarlane Omnibus. Not this one, not the standalone one, although I wouldn't be too surprised if that came back. But yeah, let's have a see if anybody's selling this. So you've got somebody selling one for £220, another for £106. Let's see if anybody tried to be sneaky with this one. Yeah, so somebody sold one 31st of December, so after Omar made his announcement, for £110. They were quick. Look at this. Christmas Day, £100. But just before that, look, £150, £130. That person got a pretty good deal. These were all before the reprint got announced, so as you can see here, some people made some good deals just before, but it seems to be the year, it seems to be the mantra now to sell your whales if you've got any. But that's all I'm going to say for this video. I know it's been a much bigger one, and I know it's been a bit more incoherent, but it's because of the fact that we just don't know what's happening at the moment with stuff like Brexit, with stuff like Christmas. I primarily look at the UK market. I'm grateful if there's anybody international that does like watching this series. It does really help, and like somebody promoted this video series in a Reddit page last month and it just really helped the video, so whoever that was, thank you so much. But if you could do the exact same thing again, that really helps. But it is going to get a bit more difficult and a bit more tricky to work things out now that we're in a post-Brexit world. I'm going to try my best, and I always try to give you the most up-to-date information that I can, and I try to give you the most honest information that I can. I don't ever want to like deceive anybody or make somebody spend money on a book that they didn't want to, but at the same time I don't want anybody to miss out on a book that they really wanted. It's a really fine balancing act that I'm still trying to figure out, and I'm still wondering if the format of this show is correct or if there's some way that I can improve it for you guys, because 2021 is a year entirely about improvement, and I'm just working hard to make sure that everything is the best that it can be. Honestly, these videos aren't easy, and if they were easy, I'd find a way to make them more difficult. I'd find a way to improve them so that it's all about what you guys see as the final product. I don't show you a lot behind the scenes, but please just know that I do work really hard. I've been recording for about 2 hours now on this video, and that's alongside all the work that I do to keep track of books throughout the month. So it isn't easy, and I know that sometimes I slip up and I don't always get everything right, but I do honestly just try my best. I didn't just want to be a channel that did everything that every other channel does, and I wanted to do something that really set me apart, and I feel like Whale Watch is that thing. So I'm determined to keep it going, and I'm determined to make it the best show that it can be. But honestly, in the next couple of months, seeing how things are going, it's just going to be a guessing game with how Brexit affects everything. But the next video that I've got planned for release is the first episode of the news channel that I've been wanting to do for a while. It's honestly the most challenging video that I've done in a while, and I hope that you guys support it and that you like it more than anything, because I wanted to do a news segment that benefits people who don't really have all the time in the world to look at news. So you can just drop in once a week, sit down and get caught up on everything. It's not like politics where you can do with knowing everything that happens, but if you just get like a weekly recap, it's for people like that, and there's going to be like a section where instead of a weather forecast, it's somebody telling you about all the omnibuses that are coming out for that coming week. And I've got some really big plans for that alongside this channel, because I just want to see this channel keep improving and you guys enjoying the videos more and more. I'm going to keep working as hard as I physically can. Like 2021 is a year where I've just committed myself to working. I'm not even focused on a specific goal, like I'm not going, oh, I want to get this many watch hours, or oh, I want to get this many subscribers. My only New Year's resolution is to make sure that I stick to the schedule that I've got and I work 100% on every video that I'm planning on releasing. That's my only goal for now, it's my only focus, and I'm just hoping that you guys get better videos as a result of it. But I'm going to leave that there, and I want you to comment below what are some of the whales that you were looking for the most in 2021. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you didn't like this video, why did you get this far? Please subscribe if you're new to the channel and join the dog pound, and click that bell notification so that you never miss a video. Like I said, share this with any of your friends, share it in any Facebook groups that you're in, or on your Instagram, or in any Reddit pages. And we've also got our own Reddit page, which is r/MadDogComic Community, and you can also see some of my social media links over there. But if you want to support the channel, it is greatly appreciated. Like, every single penny helps to making this channel better. I've got Amazon affiliate links down below, and I can't see any of your details. It doesn't increase the price. It does just mean that eventually I'm going to be able to buy some new equipment for this channel. But that's all I've got to say for now, except for to stay safe, stay reading the best books that you can find, and stay mad all you dogs. Woof woof. See you at the next video.